guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we have another version of the Q242, and this version here is the G version. I just reviewed the K version, which is a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which attaches to your cell phone. This one is a 5.8 gigahertz FPV that has a screen built into the controller, and 5.8 is a little bit better FPV. Now, to pick up this one, you can check the links down in the description. I will have them right down there where you can click on it. It'll take you to the product website if you're interested in where to buy it. But anyway, today what we're going to be doing is unboxing this, going ahead and setting it all up, making sure it all works, showing all the functions, and then taking it out to the park, doing some flight testing, doing another flight test in the house, getting some hat cam video, going ahead and recording some video and showing it on screen how it looks on the craft itself. If it's anything like the K version, this one is a pretty good flyer. I really like this one. It's got good flight time, good control, and all that stuff. So I've got high hopes for this one, being that it's basically the same thing, just in a 5.8 gigahertz version. So that'll be pretty cool to test out. So anyway, okay, cool. So this is the white version. The previous version I did was the K version was red and black. So this is a cool little change. A little bag of goodies here, which we'll go over in just a second. We have the copter itself. Kind of neat looking. I'll get some closer views of that in just a sec. And, oh, here's the battery. So this one has kind of an interesting little proprietary battery container, where you just slide it in the back of the craft, and when you do push it in all the way, that's when it turns on. And so to turn it off, you just kind of pull it out a little bit and it turns off. Whoops, kind of bent that up a little bit. And here is the controller slash screen all built in. Looks like there's nothing else in the box, so I'm going to put this to the side real quick. Alright, so the controller, built-in FPV screen. Way cool. See, it has a little nice sun hood on it for flying in the sun. We got our controls here. We'll go over all the controls in just a second. So let's go ahead and just dump out this baggie and see what we get here. So we're getting our charger. This is the charger for the controller. So when we open up the controller here, we can see that it has this JST style plug. So it's the charger to charge the battery. This is the battery that will go into the controller. Still, unfortunately, they did forget to put the charger in the box for the actual battery that goes in the craft. So if they did that, I'd definitely contact the vendor you got it from, or just pick up one of these. It's probably a couple bucks from eBay or something you can pick up. But anyway, that's everything that comes in the package, as well as a little micro SD card. This is a 4 gigabyte little micro SD card that comes stuck in the micro or the USB thumb drive. So this is where you can plug into your computer and watch your videos that you've taken. They give us a full set of 4 props. So good job to these guys for giving us an entire set of props. I really appreciate it when vendors do put in propellers, because new people that are crashing, or even experienced flyers, they're going to crash and need new props, and you're out of luck if you only get the set of props that comes with it. So good job on those. And as far as the SD card, okay, it looks like this one can record right from the craft. So you just plug in your SD card right on the bottom, and it looks like the wording, the 4 gigabyte wording, is facing the bottom of the craft, and it will just go in and snap just like that. There's our little 5.8 gigahertz antenna sticking out the back, and it's tiny, just really tiny antenna like that. And then just kind of slowly cruising around the craft here. Really nicely done. I like the shape of this, real rigid. The propellers are a little flexy, so they'll flex before they break. And then this one has a set of rubber feet on it. The K version I got for review, for some reason they didn't have the rubber feet. They have just hard plastic on here, so maybe they changed it between the two versions. And so anyway, it has these nice silicone rubber feet that are really flexible for landing and taking some impact. 2 lights on the back, same as the K version. You've got 2 rear lights, no lights on the front, so the orientation is only going to be visible from the back. So like the other one, I kind of wish they would have put some lights on the front, or maybe even had the light glowing through these feet. That would have been pretty cool, but anyway, it's still definitely awesome. And then when you charge up the battery, this is where your controller battery is going to go. It's just going to slide. It's just going to plug in right here, and just basically goes in like that. Pretty simple. And it is looking like that battery is going to be powering the controller plus the screen, so I expect it to need to be charged probably almost after every flight, so keep that in mind. So yeah, so turn on the power, we can see our battery level, we can see the screen comes on, and the controller also has some sound to it. So that battery is powering both devices. Let's go ahead and just plug this in real quick, push it in. We're going to get some flashing lights here on the bottom, and let's go ahead and turn this on and see if we can get a picture. So there we go. So it immediately just binds. Now it's ready to fly. I went ahead and went up and down on the controller to bind the craft, but it immediately binds to the video, and we can see that we have a nice clear video signal in the screen. There's the video lag there, maybe about 100 milliseconds or so of video lag, but still good, nice and clear. You can see how clear that is, good definition. So it should be pretty fun flying with this thing. So again, you just kind of unplug the back of the battery to turn it off. Okay, so it controls the left side trigger. Looks like each trigger has a left and a right function, kind of a rolls left and right and clicks. So on this one, the right side is going to be our flipping. So you're going to hit that, and then you're going to flip with the right stick here. This here should be your speed trim. So clicking that will give it a higher rate of speed when you're doing your pitching and rolling. And then of course your regular control sticks. This is going to be your throttle, your yaw, your pitch, and your roll for flying. Then it looks like these ones do have a click in. I'm not sure what that does. We're going to have to test this out in the field, because it is also saying that this is a speed control stick and it does click in, so I'm not sure what that's doing. And then on the right hand side trigger, you have on the left, rocking to the left, you have your camera. Will take video, start and stop, and then on the right of it you'll start doing photo snapshots. Cool thing is it'll record straight to the craft, so you'll get a clearer picture than if you were recording from your FPV. So that should be nice and clear. Okay, and then these buttons on the right here, these are just the trims for the pitch and the roll. So if you are drifting in one direction or the other, go ahead and just kind of trim these in the opposite direction, and you should fly a little bit more level. And that's about it for the controller. Looks like all it can do is rolls. I'm not seeing any headless mode. Maybe that's what these are. I can feel that these sticks do click in. We'll go ahead and test those modes out in the field, make sure if they do have it, we find it, and I'll let you guys know if it works. But anyway, let's go out and do some flying and come back to the bench and see how this did. So we're at the park here and gonna give a thorough flight testing on this guy. Got a fully charged LiPo battery it comes with to power the controller and the FPV monitor in. Got a fully charged LiPo on the craft itself. So let's go ahead and power this thing up and see how it does in the park. With this one, all you do is push the battery in and it goes ahead and powers on. Let's turn on the controller. And we can see that we have video as soon as the controller kind of binds, and we immediately have power to the motors as soon as it binds. So let's go ahead and try this out, get some video up of how it did, some pictures up, and see how it does. Alright, so here's rate 1. I do have 5 to 10 coming this way on the winds. Let's get a little close up of this flying. Alright, so rate 1 actually is fighting the wind pretty well. It's able to push through about 5 mile per hour wind right now. And that FPV We can see in the screen here. Seems like the frame rate is a little choppy in this FPV. I'm just looking at this. We'll see in the video if it's the same, but on the controller, it does seem like it's a little choppy on the frame rate. Anyway, let's go through some different features. Let's go ahead and try to change the rates, do return to homes and stuff. So I launched in this orientation, and let's go ahead and do a range test. I'm going to fly out here while I'm rolling back left to right. I'm about 100 feet. Oh, there we go. So it seemed like it dropped pretty immediately after it reached its range of about 150 feet. All right, so I went ahead and counted the bases out, and that was about 150 feet of range until it kind of lost connection and then pretty immediately just dropped. So let's try that again and see if we can not go out that far and just work some of its advanced features and see how they do. Okay, so launching in that direction, let's try to return to home. So the left stick pushing in, looks like that's working good. Flying back pretty quick in its same direction, and clicking in the right stick. It's giving us a headless mode where I'm rotating it, and I'm also going ahead and pushing forward, back, right, left, and it seems to be maintaining its orientation pretty well. So go out of that mode by, let's try to do a return to home while we're in that mode. Pressing the left trigger again, and it's coming back in our bearing pretty good. Just going to come back in its general direction. So if you are kind of far to the right, it's going to come back in that same column of direction you launched from. So anyway, let's see, we got the video. Let's take a couple pictures up here. Taking the picture stops the video. Restart the video. Come on down. Try some flips. Alright, those really tight flips. I'm just pressing the right part of the left trigger. You hear that beeping, and then you do some flips there. Let's try different rates. Left part of the left trigger, rate 2, and rate 3. And let's try some quick flying before it runs out of batteries. Yeah, seems pretty good. Whoa. All the different rates of flight seem to be good. Maximum funnels there. Okay. Let's do some flips again. See if we can flip when we're going forward. Nope. You have to let off the right stick, press the button, and then do your flip. And it looks like it's in low voltage landing, so it won't let you flip when the low voltage lights are on. Cool, so let's go ahead and stop that video there. Pressing the top left button. Video stopped. Alright, cool. Well, that was a good test of the 5.8 gigahertz version of this guy. So let's go ahead and get back to the house, do some house flight, see how it does in the house, and then go back to the bench and do pros and cons, see how this thing did. Okay, so we're in the house, gonna do a little house flight with this guy, see how it does in a no wind environment. So let's turn everything on. We're doing a gyro or accelerometer recal. We're pulling both sticks to the bottom left. Unknown to me, this prop was a little bent, so I'm going to even that out. And this is one of the things you should have done, well, I should have done on the pre-flight check, is make sure it didn't have any bent props. So let's see how it flies now with that prop fixed. Go ahead and do a recal and try again. There we go. Okay, so that was the problem. You have one little bent prop and it will throw off your whole day. So check the propellers, because you can't really see them when they're spinning. Now it's flying perfect. So here we are in rate 1. Let's just do a little bit of a hover test here, maybe a lift test. So from hover to full throttle, not bad for a full FPV setup. Let's go ahead and do our pitch and roll in rate 1. There's the roll, the pitch, really docile. Let's do some spinning. So there's rate 1. Whoa. Okay, wee bit of a crash test on that one. Let's try that again. So in rate 1, I wanted to spin and then go into rate 2, but it seems like it's a little wonky when it's spinning. Let's try this. So full yaw, rate 2, rate 3. So they all seem to be about the same yaw rate, but we can see that the pitch and the roll on rate 2 and then rate 3 here do get a higher pitch. So that's cool. Let's see what else we got here. So clicking in the left thumbstick, that's the return to home. So the return to home is kind of skewed. It's going to the left when I click it in. See that? So it did get skewed. Pressing in the right thumbstick here. So that's going to be the headless mode. And since the return to home is skewed, the headless is also going to be skewed. So keep that in mind. I did launch from that direction and it's already skewing. It thinks I'm, thinks I'm over there. Alright, one more crash test. We're getting some good crash testing with this one. Seems like everything's good. Let's try a TX shutoff test. So I'm just going to kind of hover here. While we're at it, we'll just do a hover test. So there we go. So no controls. Looks like it's hovering pretty good. Had to trim it a little bit, but that's still pretty good. So I'm going to hover here, do a... Okay, so there it is, going into its low voltage drop. And just going to see what happens. So it did shut off the motors before it does damage to the battery. So I had the throttle up full blast and the motor shut off. So the low voltage cutoff was great. Anyway, let's get back to the bench on this guy and go ahead and see how it did. Do some final pros and cons, get some flight timings up, and get all the specs up on how it did. Hey guys, welcome back. So we're back on the bench with the Wltoys Q242. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and do a couple of pros and cons here and just see how this thing did, get some flight timings and ranges up. Got to mention out of the box, there was no LiPo charger in the box for the quad itself. Luckily, I also am under review for the Wi-Fi version where you can just hook it up to your cell phone, and I have that plug from that Wi-Fi version, but this was not in the box with this quad. And then the only other thing which you probably saw in the house flight test was one of the props was badly bent out of the box, so I just had to kind of bend that back, but you can kind of see it does have a little bit of a kink on the propeller, but they do give you some extra propellers and stuff in the box, so not that big of a deal. That kind of stuff happens, but I was a little bit disappointed that the charger for the actual quad battery was not in the box. So hopefully maybe their quality control, they can check their boxes before shipping, make sure they have all the parts in there. But anyway, aside from that, this thing is pretty good. This thing does have 3 rates of flight, which are spot on good. The only thing it doesn't have is the yaw doesn't increase seemingly with the rate increase, but you do get more pitch and roll in all 3 rate increases. It did have the headless and return to home. It had pretty good lift for a fully outfitted FPV all-in-one 5.8 gigahertz plus the recording quad, little micro quad like this. The lift was okay. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't too sluggish compared to some others. So the actual FPV screen and the visibility was pretty good. It's good that they have this sunshade on here to block out some of the sun. The only thing about the FPV is for a 5.8 gigahertz system, it seemed like it had a little bit of low frame rate once in a while. It would be really fast and good, and then all of a sudden once in a while it would kind of get a little bit, not really choppy, but you could tell that the frame rate wasn't really keeping up. It did do good flips, it did tight flips, and it was for the most part able to maintain its altitude. I do like getting back to the controller, I really liked the fact that they included a LiPo battery for the controller, and it was all integrated, so you didn't have to mess with any separate batteries or anything. Just charge up your LiPo battery, which they gave you a charger for, and so it kept the controller really light and keeps kind of everything tidy. And then finally getting to the range and the flight times. Basically the range on this guy was about 150 feet until, I think in the flight video in the park, it did kind of drop out of the sky at 150 feet when I lost control and dropped straight to the ground. And then as far as the flight times go, I was getting 4 minutes and 40 seconds until the low voltage lights would blink on the bottom here, and then another about 20 seconds up to 5 minutes total time until it would kind of force land and go into its low voltage landing. And it did have the low voltage cutoff, so you wouldn't kill the battery. It would cut off the motors when it reached a certain voltage internally to prevent the battery from draining too low and killing the battery. One more thing is I really wish they would incorporate a little bit better lighting on this. They do have 2 red lights in the back, and there is a green light inside for the camera when you don't have the recording in. When the camera is recording, it turns red and blinks, but so you can kind of use that green light as kind of orientation at night as well. But it would have really been cool if, since they have these semi-clear white rubber feet on the bottom of this one, which I didn't have with the Wi-Fi version, strangely, it would have been so cool if they could have just put some LEDs, some tiny like nano LEDs that nanos have, and just shine them through the bottoms of these semi-clear rubber feet. That would have been totally awesome. But anyway, besides that, I think it's a pretty good quad. I like the full system they have here. There's a couple of things they can improve on, but overall I think it's pretty good. The fit and finish of it is really nice. The integrated camera worked pretty well, and it's not pointing too far down. It's more almost level pretty much. But anyway guys, I hope you liked the review. I do a lot of these reviews. I do mods, flight tests, all kinds of stuff for action cams, quads, RC cars, and all kinds of stuff. So check out the channel. I think you'll like it. But anyway, you can pick this up. I'll have the link down in the description. If you are interested in this guy, go ahead and check that link down in the description under the video, and that'll take you to the website of where you can pick this up. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.